start.
Hello everyone and welcome to 2024 SpaceChem tournament week 3 museum exhibit. As usual, for this round we have a weird metric and a weird special rule. The special rule for this is you are only allowed to grab hydrogen. So another special thing about hydrogen is that you have a limited number of it. Well, you were given an infinite number, but you must use this replaced reactor to select how many you need. Because for each selected hydrogen must be extracted with a swap command, and we are counting the number of swap commands used as part of the metric. So basically, ideally you would want to use a single swap command and thus a single hydrogen. This is the first production level of the tournament, and as you can see, the nuclear mass here is fairly simple. You are given, you have a constant H handles which doesn't figure in the nuclear mass, so you are only working with N2O2, and from it you are making NO2 and the crystal you see above. It works out to be an even 3 inputs for a set of the 2 outputs, so nothing too weird or complex here. So the metric here is number of swap hits, meaning the numbers of hydrogen atoms used, multiplied by the maximum symbol count of any reactor. So what this essentially does is two things. First, it essentially makes the level a set of individual symbol optimizations. It's not enough to have, you cannot have, as usual, one reactor where you do a lot of things and many where you do few. You have to split it approximately evenly. And as another consequence, you must constantly pass the single hydrogen or however many hydrogens you've extracted around a circle. So because of the special rule, another consequence is that you cannot grab in any way atoms after you have split them. So the only way to split things, and you will have to split things, is to do it over the output matrix and immediately output it. The way it works out is you can make either a 4 solution or a 4 reactor or a 5 reactor solution, including the replaced reactor. The 5th reactor will add a certain penalty, I think around 20%. Both number of reactors are viable, and we will see both of those over the course of this presentation. I think that's it. Okay, take it away.
Yes, that was nice. And something I want to point out before we start is that other than being a 3-for-1, so the ratio is nice, it is also that the nuclear splitting themselves are nice. We will see it later, but you can see carbon, nitrogen, and carbon is 6, and you can easily make carbon by say adding 3 hydrogens together and then splitting it 4 times. So even if you know there seem to be many atoms, they are actually fairly simple combination of the input. So this puzzle was not focused on complex nuclear math. We have another puzzle focused on complex nuclear math. This was focused on this specific restriction, or this special restriction of just always having an hydrogen handle. Okay, I think we can start. We can start with Ventus Ignis, who has a first solution which is not really doesn't really get the main theme of the puzzle, but again, as I say usually, and I would say just this time, these puzzles are hard, and solving them already makes you a pretty good player. So as you can see here, this solution is going to pull a lot of hydrogen. How much of it exactly?
1572, so a bit more than the expected 102.
Yeah, exactly. And this a bit more, we can see it here. There is a lot of hydrogen pooling, and we could wait for a while, and blue will get to do a thing. Just wait a moment. So because this is the first production puzzle, we will take more time into looking into all the reactors, and at first we'll look at every single reactor, and then once we find some common themes, we will start going faster in later solutions. But you can just see blue put some hydrogens onto output omega, and then we get on. So we have a huge lot of hydrogens. What do we do with it? Well, first of all, this reactor right here, we fuse hydrogen together, and this was not really the expected use for hydrogen, because you're using a lot of very precious metric points for this, and this reactor makes carbon and phosphorus the kind of standard way. You fuse until you hit carbon, or down there you fuse until you hit here it's beryllium down here, and then it is phosphorus down up there. And we have done these materials here, so we can take a look at this reactor, which is acting right now. Damn it, I was saying that I wanted to look at this reactor, and we will. Okay, so here it is. So we use the hydrogen handle the way it was planned to pick up the input, and then we unbond it, and then rebond it, and this is the output. It's more or less every solution does something like this in more or less complicated ways. So this sort of pick it up, split some pieces, make the output, it's something that is in every single solution. And then we pass along this nitrogen, and then as you can see we pick up more atoms, and we pass the baton along. This concept that you pick up a nitrogen, do some stuff, and pass along a nitrogen is the core concept of this puzzle. And we get here where we have every single piece that we have accumulated. We're just waiting for an input alpha. Just give it a moment. Come on. Yeah, these solutions are not fast because this is a symbols puzzle. Okay, the higher chain has activated. Okay, we have this thing, and then we'll get another, and then we'll get another, and then we'll get another again. And as you can see, this builds some things that is reasonably similar to this. We have a phosphorus, and you will be shortly able to see that you have a square, and you can just shove the phosphorus inside. Here it is. Come on. And once this is in, it's just a matter of picking molecule back up, unbonding, and outputting. And these hydrogens comes back all the way here, where it is fused inside in this loop. So all in all, this works, and it uses a good amount of symbols. What's the maximum reactor symbols, Darius?
The maximum reactor symbols is 64.
Which I imagine is this reactor here that does the wall combining, and it looks very expensive.
Actually, the zeros reactor also looks quite expensive to me.
Yeah, I would say that this is the worst one. We can check shortly. Yeah, and this solution is not fast. And at 20,000 cycles and 207 symbols, this is a Ventus Ignis solution. Do you have a metric score then, Darius?
I have, it's a metric of 71,372, so we are going to see quite lower numbers later on.
Yeah, but again, Ventus Ignis, don't get discouraged. I too got the absolute last place in the first tournament I participated in, and you just get better as you play along. And 143. I cannot remove this. 158. Yeah, this one is the limiting one. Next solve by username void with no comments. We have a 3 reactor solve, and as you can see by the lack of backpipes, this is also probably going to use too much hydrogen. How much of it specifically? Well, not too much. You can see it's just 3. Or is it 4? Wait, I cannot count. It is 1, it is 3, 2, and this 3, exactly. So 1 up there and 2 down here. Before we go on, I wanted to mention something about this solution. This solution has a big problem, and it is that there are no annotations. Now, it's okay if you didn't know, but now I want to make it clear. I have to look at your solutions. Annotations help me a lot. So please put annotations in your multi-reactor solutions. Okay, now that the public service announcement is done, let's see. Now we have seen 3 hydrogens. So what is clearly going to happen is that one hydrogen is going to end up here, one hydrogen is going to end up here, one hydrogen is going to end up here, and there will be no baton passing, just, you know, some sort of catalyst in each reactor. And this is a valid way to solve the puzzle, but it will see that it is possible to do baton passing, and that gives you much better score. So we get the hydrogen, and as you can see, we use it to make the first output, and we are going to use it to stash the inputs over here. 1 and 2. We'll look at this better in a moment, but we have done the 3 inputs needed, and so this is everything that's needed to solve the puzzle. So let's watch this more calmly. This is the output, and this one we bring 1 here, and then red comes in and does. We have 1 oxygen here, makes sulfur. The other oxygen here, it makes chromium, and this, we will see this done in a lot of ways, because this is the easiest way to make carbon, because chromium is 24, it becomes 12, and they become 6. So this makes 4 carbons with no horrendous fusion math. The other thing that happened is that these are 3 oxygens. The 4th oxygen is here, and it made phosphorus. So this is an easy example of the nuclear math needed, and as you can see, it's not complicated. You see, we started splitting already into magnesiums, because we cannot pick up split atoms, as Darius was saying. So we need to split pretty long. We cannot just leave splitting for the last reactor, or we will not be able to pick stuff up back again and reattach it. So we have this reactor right here. Stuff is coming in this arrangement, and everything is rebonded together. As you can see, the hydrogen carries it around, and yet again we split. We need this reactor to split because as Darius was saying, we cannot pick up stuff that is split, because once something is here or here, you cannot pick them up with hydrogen. And while on the left it could be part of a larger molecule, on the right it's going to be a single atom, and you need to output it. So this reactor is needed just to split. And then we go into the last reactor, which we will wait a moment to see it from the start. Come on. Okay. We input things, and as you can see, by correctly jiggling things here, you can have pieces fall here in a much better shape. Like, I call this thinking 3-dimensionally, because you cannot just think about how you put things in this square, but also that when you output and break off things and you place them in a certain way, you can must input them in the next reactor, and you can make shapes that were not possible in this reactor. So one thinks 2-dimensionally for this arrangement, and then thinks about what comes in time here. And in this solution it is fairly simple, because everything is inputted at one time, but you can input one, then move it, then input another one, and then you can build shapes that would be impossible to build if you just were in one reactor. And I'm not good at this. There are players that are very good at arranging things three-dimensionally so that horrendous messes here become nearly the product here. And we will see some solutions of this kind in this puzzle. So about this solution instead, as you can see, there is rejiggering, more and more rejiggering to make all this become a square. You have two Waldos, and so you can just dance over all these bonders until everything is nice and rebonded, and blue picks it up and outputs it. And then we do it again. Input, bond, this whole thing is run around and rejiggered, so it becomes the output, and here we go. This is a nice solution that shows this very simple method of leaving an handle into each reactor. Sadly, inputting 3 hydrogens takes a good bit out of your metric that you would like not to. So, also we can see reactors look pretty heavy, like this one and this one look pretty heavy, and so they contribute to the 200 symbol score. Here we go. This is much faster, and it scores what metric?
It scores 167 metric, so need 500 or so times improvement over the previous.
Yeah, it's not really. Yeah. When we have ending May, had problem submitting. His solution was a bit late, but we got it in anyways because there were no spoilers in the channel, and it scores. This is 9th place, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Let's look at what it does. First, see here. You see 1 and 2 swaps, so he is going to use just 2 hydrogen atoms, and well, he has 2 reactors, so we are clearly going to see another solution that leaves an hydrogen into each reactor. Let's look at the first one, and we see this thing. The first hydrogen is just given to the second reactor, and then we see wow, oh my god, okay, like aside from some details, this is just shuttling pieces out to the next reactor. Besides from this piece here that makes the second output. So it's different from a previous solution in that instead of using 2 chromium here, we see that the only nuclear matte is right here, where we make silicon out of 2 nitrogens. Oh, and we also make phosphorus, which is in a moment. Right here, yeah. Here we also fuse these 2 and we make phosphorus. Now let's see the next reactor. The next is also the last. So this reactor loops into itself, and again, this is something you can do only because you have a nitrogen for each reactor. So we will not see this stack in top solutions, but it is pretty neat because you can split, and then you can sort of pick them up because they come here. So this is a way to circumvent the outsplit issue, but sadly it only works because the solution is not optimal in terms of swaps. And let's just wait for a new input to come in so we can see how it patches things up. So everything is fused together and it makes chromium. As you would expect, chromium is the easiest way to make carbon, and it also makes nickel, which is 4 times nitrogen because this way it's symmetric, and it breaks 2, it breaks another 2, picks them up and breaks them again. So this is really elegant. It's a very efficient way to split a lot of things in a reactor and grab them back up, and then it's just a matter of attaching things to everything. And as you can see, because you have stuff just coming out of these lines, this rejiggering doesn't look too terrible. So you can do a lot in this reactor, splitting and bonding, because your split products are quite nice around here, and so the rejiggering looks pretty simple. I mean, pretty simple. It's a word. It's not terrible. Is probably better description. Yeah, it is done, and now it's just a matter of bonding. Here we go. Nice. Let's see it run. And here we go. This solution is nearly as fast as the previous one, but it is less symbols and it also uses an hydrogen less. So it should have a better metric, which is
107. So still quite off from the top, but 1.5 times better than the previous one.
okay. Now next solution.
Because you're getting punished by around well, the second swap. I didn't say the specific numbers, but the second swap hit punishes you by 33%, and all hits afterwards punish you by additional 66% each. So
yeah,
unfortunately, having 3 reactors was not good enough to balance.
Yeah, the second swap is not terrible, but it's still not good enough. This solution right here has one swap, and from now on every single solution has one swap. So we are not going to cover this anymore and just look at the rest. So because there is just one hydrogen, you need to do baton passing. So as you can see, you have the hydrogen here. This brings the hydrogen here, this brings the hydrogen here, and this will bring the hydrogen here. So you need all the reactors connected to each other, and of course the graph works out that you have connection to each other, the inputs and the outputs, and things work out. So let's see. We just look. The first reactor is here. And this inputs everything in one go, makes phosphorus, and just splits stuff out. As you can see, we make chromium, we are going to make this output, here it is, and we'll just get this stick out. Not before splitting it to magnesium, so again we have one split ahead. Because you have baton passing, oh well, let's just look at it. So this reactor really made a lot of adjustment and did every split that was needed. Let's just look at it again. The magnesium is reattached in, and then it is split and outputted. But because this reactor has a loop back, we are actually going to see the carbon reattached. Here we go, and then we bring this stick out. We get here, and it's just a matter of rejiggering. The puzzle has 8 bonders per reactor, so while these rejiggerings are complex in what they do, you can pretty easily find a way to dedicate one reactor to these rejiggerings, and you can always do that. Like if you start with all the correct atoms, you in a reactor with 8 bonders, this is easily possible. Like this is not the hardest part of a puzzle. So it looks intimidating, but making this into this in a whole reactor is really not difficult. The difficulty is more in planning your layout. So we go, and this is also getting lighter. At 150 symbols it is still pretty heavy, but we are going to see shortly that symbols will drop dramatically. At 8,000, nearly 8,000 cycle and 150 symbols, this should be the first solution of the ones that have a reasonable metric, right?
Yes, it has 62 metric.
Okay. Onwards to VPMA solution was called first prototype extremely unoptimized. It looks like it is also the last prototype. And let's see, the layout is very similar. This reactor right here that is connected to the output, and then we have this reactor that loops into itself, and then we have this loopback pipe. So let's see, again we will see this hydrogen run around, but the first reactor we want to look at is this one. So this makes zinc, which is not really useful as is, so we will see it maneuvered again for sure. And it outputs a piano, and yet again it makes tellurium, which is everything else. And this, well, the math looks a bit weirder, but nothing we cannot contend with. Oh, I will restart it because it's gonna be faster. Let's just wait a moment. Okay, we see we are assembling the pieces here, and we are about to get the tellurium. Here we go. So we have assembled this shape, which we are going to drop it. Yeah, that is the bottom output. Come on, okay. Yeah, this has built the beta output, so we drop it, and then we just pick everything up and bring it out. Again, we pass the button with this hydrogen, and okay. We inputted this one, and now we have to split everything, and we have this setup we have seen before, where we split and pick them up next door, and we split and pick them up and split and pick them up, and this is how we can just get something working out of this iron. Still, this doesn't look like a very efficient fusion path, because now it's aluminium, and then aluminum will give you nitrogen carbon. It's just a huge amount of splitting, and again and again, and as you can see, at some point we'll get carbon and we will escape the loop. Here we go. So we get carbon, and now that we got carbon, everything is done. So it is just a matter of picking the pieces up with this nice loop that keeps looping and attaching pieces. Now it just needs some rejiggering, which is easily done because the molecule is nearly complete. It's just a matter of bonding, and the first reactor does it by bonding everything and restarting the cycle. This fusion path is pretty complicated with the appearance of tellurium, and this makes it so you need probably a bit too many symbols to then reconvert everything back again. But still, this is I would think the prototype layout of a good solution, and we will see better implementation shortly. I think this is the only tellurium solution, but I not
no, it isn't.
It isn't, yeah. Yeah, all this splitting takes a while, and this is back to being slow again at 16,000 symbols, and it has 165 symbols. There are more symbols, but 3 reactors, so this gets
gets 50. Okay.
Yeah, please.
This gets 57 metric points, so just a bit better than the previous one.
Yeah, I imagine it's because this one has this very heavy reactor, so it's a matter of better distribution. Yeah, these all look equally bad. So next solve of spiritual shampoo. How about You optimize the length of your metric instead. There is something you want to say, Darius?
Yeah, that's fair. My metrics are indeed kinda long.
That's fair. So
They might get even longer.
we could also talk about your level names, but we can do it at the end of this video. We have a 4 reactor
Okay,
solved.
of course.
And so let's spend a moment looking at the connections. We have this reactor here, which gets the input hydrogen and outputs to both this reactor and this reactor. And we have this one that outputs the output and outputs to this reactor, and then we have this reactor that outputs and brings it back. Because of how this is connected, you can think this as essentially one unit, and so you can see that we have a different connection with respect to the reactors, because instead of we have seen previous solutions that have a loopback pipe, and instead it has a full triangle connection. So let's look at this. This is the input reactor, but this is not going to be particularly interesting at the beginning because it just gives it back. This is the input reactor, where you will never guess it, we input things. And the thing that we input is here. Yeah, and we need to keep following the button pass. So is this hydrogen here? It's button passed again. It ends up here. It is button passed again, and we input another molecule, which we use to make chromium and phosphorus, and we split everything and move along. This molecule right here, we split pieces again and move along. This is making me jog around. We rejig it again, but as you can see, we don't have all the pieces yet. So we pick things up, nearly done, and we output this one here, we'll see later, and we get the hydrogen here, where we are going to input the last of the 3 inputs we need. And we make the output, and we have the last piece. Here we go. If you remember, we have seen this earlier. It got here due to how the reactors are connected, and it is not obvious, but it works, trust me. So we pick this one up, and we just need to attach the phosphorus in. Now we dealt with the phosphorus earlier, and we just outputted it, and now it's time to go find it. We find it here, where we left it earlier. As you can see, red dropped it by unbonding it, and now we can just output everything. So this is a prime example of thinking 3-dimensionally, because let's just stay focused in this reactor for a moment. It will take a bit. Okay, we receive this intermediate product, and we just leave the phosphorus here, because we know that once the whole other loop is done, we are going to input this thing and just have the phosphorus magically inside. And again, planning, yeah, here is it. Planning these things were the one of the most complicated things about this puzzle, like what you can input to make things magically worked out. And I have to say, this is a nice trick. This is a nice trick. Yeah, we have phosphorus here, and then just like magic, come on, the input appears around the phosphorus and everything works out. Neat, really neat. What are the problems of this solution? Well, besides the 4 reactors, this reactor here looks pretty simple, so there's going to be many other symbols in the other reactors, which will result in this solution not being as great as it may look, because symbol unbalance makes your metric worse. but because of 4 reactors, this it's not terribly slow. Clocks in at 14,000 cycles, and
53 metric.
nice. What improvement is it from the last puzzle?
It's plus -4 metric points.
Okay. Next up,
And now we go to the good solutions.
yeah. As you can see, this was 176 symbols, and the solution promises 22, 21, 23, 21. So we have around halved the symbols at 90. So yeah, this is the first of the really good solutions, and it is no surprise that we start seeing the first team, which is the Commonwealth. Please remind me who makes up the Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth is Brucius, Britboy, and Jojo.
Okay, let's see. This is yet again a 4 reactor solution, and again I say 4 reactors because I don't really count this one. And let's look at the connections for a moment. We have this one is connected to the first one, it's connected to the second. These are kind of a unit, as you can see, with a backpipe, and this goes back one. So we have yet again the backpipe connection scheme and not the triangle one. This is a more complex double backpipe because it's across 2 reactors, but you should think these 2 as a unit. So let's see. We have the hydrogens inputted here, but as usual this is not going to be interesting because just pass it along. And this is the input reactor, so we start here by inputting into zinc. Oh no, this is the other tellurium solution, right? Yep, so let's look at it again. Come on, okay. We fuse stuff into zinc, we fuse stuff into tellurium, which we output, and then we have this extra oxygen, and we want to make this output, so we can make the phosphorus, and everything that's left is the output. Here we go. Now let's follow the pieces. Remember, nothing can move in these reactors until we get the hydrogen, so things are just getting inputted, but nothing has moved. So we picked the pieces up.
Let me just jump in. How often do you see input hammering in SpaceChem?
Sorry?
How often do you see input hammering in SpaceChem? What a unusual thing.
Yeah. This input hammering is really rare. Like, there are puzzles where you just leave a valve on input because it needs to input, say, 3 things and then do its stuff, and it will never be able to input a 4th thing because it just isn't. But pure input hammering is rare. So we made iron and passed the button. Oh, sorry, stuff has just come back, so we are doing the same exact dance. Split iron, and we'll get it here. Whoops. Give back aluminum, and when we split aluminum, and then we give back aluminum, and then we split aluminum. I mean, you get the point. And then we get back aluminum, and then we split aluminum, and then we get back aluminum, and then we split aluminum. And at some point we are gonna get carbon. This means we're done. So it's a matter of picking stuff up, like the phosphorus. And as you can see, these 2 reactors work in tandem to make the loopback pipe work. We have this nearly done output, which has just been rejiggered by this reactor. Too fast, come on. We can look at it. As you can see, the rejiggering here is really simple, and we are done. Now if we look at the solution, because we have just 90 symbols, reactors look much simpler than the previous ones. The heaviest I'm not sure which one was it. I think this one. We will look in a moment. It's not particularly fast though. We clock over 20,000 cycles. At 22,000 cycles, but we have 90 symbols, so much better symbol count, and a metric of.
It has a metric of 25, which is a 28-point drop. It had 5 reactors and 23 max symbols.
Yeah, the worst reactor is 23, the third one, this one. Makes sense. Very dense symbols. Next we look at
It's not very dense compared to literally anything we've seen previously.
Yeah. I mean, what makes it so much better than, say, this one? There is not really a conceptual reason, that it's not that the connections are bad, or the process is just made simple. There is not a conceptual leap between like this and the good solution. They are just cleaner, not conceptually better. Now we have top thought. You can only swap ons, and we have 3 reactors, and this reactor connects here, and goes back. When you have three reactors, you cannot have. You can have different shapes if you want. This reactor could have a double back pipe. I guess top thought didn't need it. So we see here we input hydrogen and nothing interesting will happen because this is the input reactor. We input everything in, make phosphorus and magnesium and carbon and the output. So there's not many symbols, but this reactor does a lot. Let's just look at it again. We have this timing Valdo, which has a bond plus, a bond minus, and a fuse. So this is really complex timing. When you need to time this many symbols, it's really not easy. And we bond everything here, we fuse here, and when we fuse again, and then we output, and then we bond again. No, this does nothing. Yeah, no, the bonds here do nothing. We will do things after. And yeah, this really complex timing. And we output again. Now that we output, we are here, and as you can see, we lined up things in a way that everything is nice and clean here. And what do we do? Yeah, we rejigger things around because all the atoms are correct except for this magnesium. So we are just going to split this one right here, exactly. And now we have every single atom is correct. We go back to this reactor where we will have to do some rejiggering. Yeah, not too much. Reasonably simple. And we are done. Of course, we didn't look carefully here, but when a new product comes in, let me see if I can spot it. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. When this comes here and inputs, the omega product is outputted. So this has just 79 symbols. So it has a max symbols of, do you have it at hand?
Yes, it has 26 maximum symbols.
Okay, because this is 3 reactors, so the maximum symbols is going to raise, but the reactor penalty more makes up for it. It's also much faster. Clocks in at 6,000 cycles and 79 symbols. For a metric of
24, so a 1 point drop.
24. Next up, we have this one, even above all else. What?
Even as in not odd, I assume.
Oh man. So we have this three reactor solution, and we have this one here, and then the wall. This is the same layout as Toffot. So we will input here, and nothing interesting will happen, and nothing interesting happens, and this is the first reactor we care about. So we, as usual, we bond three inputs again. We make this one late, let's say. I'm not sure why, but we'll discover it shortly. We make chromium. We split chromium into magnesium. We split, because we wanted this to be done here. And we have this thing here. The thing is output here, where we pick up the magnesium and split them. And when we attach everything back up, make phosphorus and output again. And then here we pack things up. Things pack up very nicely. As you can see, there is not much rebonding to be done, and we are done. Button pass and go back to start. Start switch picks everything up. We can see here the piece I didn't really get soon, it made the omega output. As we can see, chromium is split, the omega output is done, and things are output. And when we see this again, magnesiums are all picked up, split, things are picked up, and rejiggered and outputted. Nice. Why is this better than Toffot solution? I don't know. It simply is. It makes a very similar process, it uses the symbols. And at 6,000 cycles, 72 symbols, for a metric of...
This had for a metric of 21, so a 3-point drop, and max symbols of 23, which is the lowest we'll see for a 3 reactor solution. The remaining are all 4 reactor.
Yeah, we have second place now for Team Sacred Foundry, which is, help me.
Which is Yellow Bunny and Lazy Comment.
More reactors equal more better. Yeah, looks so. This is a 4 reactor solution in which the reactors are assembled. The way this is connected, this is a reactor team, and so you have this here. You have a triangle connection among, and these 2 reactors are a unit. So again, not very interesting. This is the first reactor. We input hydrogen, and oh man, we made phosphorus and fused into silicon. Yet again, we fuse into chromium. Yeah, this looks very efficient because this single motion has done so many things in one go.
Yeah, let me just say there is some black magic, black timing magic being done in the previous reactor.
Yeah, we will see it. We will see it in more detail. Let's just look at this for a moment, which has done a bit of splitting. And then this reactor does part of rejiggering, and then this reactor will finish the rejiggering. Now we will look at things. Yeah, very, very, very simple rejiggering. Now let's look at it in detail. So there is a kind of timing value because this is a sensor, so it is timed, but you have fixed timing points. So the hydrogen passes here, so blue starts. It unbonds this, so you can pick it up by the nitrogen, and it makes phosphorus and sulfur in one go. Then comes back here again, and you bond it, and you fuse it here, make chromium, and again pick the rest of the piece up. and some very funky sensor here for chromium makes it so you're going to the right, and so you're bonding a completely different shape. Yep, and this is output. Now in this reactor we have chromium to split, so we are first going to break off this piece, which is the output, and when we split chromium once, and then we split the magnesium to carbon, and we drop. We get here where, because we thought three-dimensionally, let's say everything bonds nicely with zero effort, and there is just this magnesium to split, and then stuff to pick up. Again, as you can see, this is nearly square, and we drop things and line them up so that here they come up nearly done. Yeah, here we go. Blue activates, red also activates, splits, rebonds it, extremely clean, and outputs. Nice. And we go back to the start. Yeah, like this reactor probably has a bunch of magic, because all of this timing here makes this impressive output all in one go. Sorry, I lost them. And as you can see, by the speed I lose them, it is also not even that low. At 8000 cycles, 79 symbols for score of?
For a score of 20.5, which is half a point better than the previous one, because it has 4 reactors and 19 maximum symbols.
19. Yeah, look at this. They all look pretty simple. But the first place is yet again for Team Flight Risk, which is
Rex Kicks and GG Goal,
and says three at a whack, or I can't believe I got the metric this low. Yeah, we got the metric very low. So congratulations to GG Goal and Rex Kick for yet another victory. And let's see, we have 4 reactors. This one as double back, this one are a unit, and this loops back. The hydrogen is put directly into this reactor, which does nothing useful, so we are going to see this one first. Here we go. So we input 3 of them. Yeah, we have seen this happen already. We make chromium and phosphorus and output everything. Again, the way we output it will make this in the next reactor, which will be simple to pick up. Now we need to split this chromium, and they do it here. Okay, this wants to make this other output. Oh man, kind of impressive symbol reuse here. We lost the train. We'll pick the train back up in a moment, because you can see this output here will output this molecule. Okay, so bond minus, and we get everything out, and we'll get thing back here. We pick this stick up, we split it here, and this is where this is, I think, one of a few solutions, one of a few top solutions that rely on having 2 splitters in same reactor. We didn't talk much about that, but we've seen some solution earlier that did split a whole stick in 2 parts. This solution kind of does the same, where it has 2 parallel splits, and the carbons will find their way back down here by the loop back pipe, and so they can be easily packed back in. And again, this is very nice 3-dimensional thinking, because everything folds back in. And now this needs to be rejiggered, which it is done by a free running loop. It is here. Come on. Yep, here we go. And this is yet again input hammering. Kind of impressed. This loop is kind of impressive, that it is not bound at all and loops continuously, but it will pick things up and then issue all the commands that are needed. Yeah, and yeah, this is really impressive. Here we go. With 9,000 cycles and 65 symbols, this is the best solution we have. At Dariush, you have a metric?
It's a metric of 17 and a half, so a 3-point metric drop. The maximum symbols is 16.
Yeah, so the metric is 17 and it's a 3 metric point drop from the previous one. So congratulations to Team Flight Risk for another win. Now let's take a look at the fun solutions, which are here. We have Vipume with a little unoptimized, which does everything out of hydrogen, and this is exactly the opposite of what the puzzle wanted you to do, and this makes everything out of hydrogen. How does it do that? Sensors. Yeah.
By the way, he initially submitted it as a scoring solution with a score of something around 1 million, and I nearly got a heart attack because I thought that this meant that the swap hits metric was incorrectly implemented on the bot.
No, please do not give people the idea that they can just submit terrible solves because so they find bugs in the. Okay, this is not going to be fast. Really not going to be fast. It makes kind of a nice rhythm. Okay, and then we have a Team Secret Foundry, which you can guess it's a single Waldo solve. And it's a single Waldo solve with multiple reactors, yeah?
I wonder who of the Team Secret Foundry made this solution.
We're not going to, we are never going to know. And yeah, this respects the restriction, so it is clearly not doable in one reactor, and he needed 4. It is single swap though, so it would score not terribly, I think. Yeah, I don't think this would, like, not as good as their solution, but 1000 symbols for reactors, it will give like 6th, 7th place or so. So congratulations to everyone that submitted a scoring solve, and this puzzle was pretty unconventional, and I think the top half of the players made it look somewhat easy, but really just rocking it was something. Yeah, at around here the puzzle starts becoming one could say easy, but still it was really non-trivial. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about the puzzle?
No, not really.
Great. Then we can start talking about the puzzles that were released in this before this round. Want to start with Carnation System?
Yeah. Gradation System is the first quote-unquote special round, which is quote-unquote semi-permanent round. Unlike the full permanent round, unlike the full permanent rounds, it does not last for the whole tourney, but it will last for the next 5 weeks, concurrent with the mainline levels. Unlike most levels in this tournament, it has a fairly standard cycles metric and a fairly simple special rule. As you can see, you have two pass-through outputs, and in fact, you have only a single input ever. You will have to transform the input into one of the output, which will then turn into the second output, which will then turn into the first output, and so on indefinitely. Please see this number not as a number, but as an infinite, but as a sign of infinity. You only get one number, one input. Please do not try to break it or exploit it. Thank you.
I cannot write infinity, but you get the point.
The
bot
as you
the bot will not accept solutions that actually see the second input, because this is a billion and the bot stops at 10.
Stop talking about this. This is infinity.
No, I want to say it because people will be funny, and I just want to tell you, do not try to be funny. It's not going to work, and if you clog the bot, I will find you. And
the rule explicitly says you get only one input.
Yeah, you will for sure quell the curiosity of SpaceChem players. Please go on.
So, as IEEE mentioned previously, Big 3 had fairly simple nuclear mass, and this one really kinda has the opposite. The trick of the level is that basically this is one giant nuclear mass exercise. You get penalized quite heavily for each additional reactor. In fact, if you have 3 instead of 2, you get a 3 times penalty. Yes, 3 times penalty. You have a fairly high 6 reactor quota. So if you want to get any solution out, you can pretty much have it done. Not much else I can say about this without going into spoiler territory.
Yeah, I will.
You take one input and
I will say something. Something that is, because you get one input, it may be obvious, but let's point it out. You need to recycle this mass. Like trying to do this. Come on. Trying to do this and this is not going to work. You need to cycle the mass back. And how you do it, that's the point of the puzzle. Also, this is something I think should be said, observed. I guess everyone knows it, but it will be really bad if someone doesn't. The Greeks split. You can split Greeks into things that are left for you to discover, but splitting Greeks is something that works, and it is the point of this puzzle. This is, I think, not obvious if you don't know other puzzles, so I wanted to point it out. Yeah, I think that's all, because after this we really get into spoiler territory.
Yeah. And the second level?
Yeah, the deadline for this one is
in 5 weeks from now.
Great.
So 18th of August.
The real puzzle has 6 reactors. This is another version. And then we have you will say the title.
Honorable, I have finally managed to join the research lab I aimed for, but it unexpectedly has no budget. My journey towards making advanced chemicals from water and carbon dioxide.
Great.
Okay. Show the level, please.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Okay. Oh, this level.
This is indeed a level.
As you can see, or rather you cannot see, it has a fairly high quota of 12 reactors. And the reason it has such a high quota is because this is primarily a reactors puzzle. And the way it is made a reactors puzzle is by putting a cap on the maximum number of tiles you can use in the reactor. The quote-unquote default cap is 13 tiles. What do we mean by using a tile? A tile is used if any command is placed on it. Okay. So right now, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right now, eight tiles are used. So even though two commands coexist on the top left tile, this still counts as one tile used. So you get a cap of 13 tiles used, and you will get pretty harshly penalized if you try to go over this cap. So the point of this level is you make many simple small reactors. So in a way it's similar to the one you have just seen, but we are going to have a much wider range of viable reactor numbers. It has reactors as a primary metric and symbols as a secondary. So don't go to.
What do you need?
What do I need?
Yeah, you need me to show something?
I don't think so.
Okay.
The nuclear mass here is fairly simple, unlike the level you've seen just now. I'm not going to explain the exact mass, but you can count it. It's not going to be very painful. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. This is probably the puzzle that wants you to use the most reactors that I have seen in tournaments. Because having 12 is a feature of the community edition, so it has only been possible from 2021, and I don't think any other puzzle has found an efficient way to incentivize you to use many reactors, and we will see if this metric can. From a meta perspective, I'm very interested to see if this metric right here can make you use 8 10, 12 reactors. If it cannot, I will find a better way for next year.
By the way, you see this landscape, it's called Sandbox, and it's very open. You have triple IE to thank for that, because the previous shape of this puzzle was not so open.
Yeah, I think that these space restrictions are not good are not a good game mechanic. Like even in the, I guess that Zach wanted to have them to add variety to the levels, but I don't think they are a good mechanic. The same way I think about it on Shenzhen IO. I don't think that this sort of stupid space restrictions here and here are a good game mechanic. Like, just let me play spins, and I will want to make optimized shapes by myself. Don't force me, to do this and put pipes right here because this is blocked. So I'm a fan of this shape right here, which is the most open we have.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is everything. So we will close. We'll close the registration for now, and see you all next week. Goodbye.
Yep. Goodbye and congratulations to everyone, and especially to Flight Risk.